Alright guys, welcome to the 55th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out why a mattress is the single best investment you can make in life, how not to end a night out in London,
And what wearing a balaclava in the gym says about you as an individual.
let's get into it. Not good, is it,
You
really?
should be complaining about the sun right now.
I know,
Really?
but I'm actually in my element. And
Yeah,
that's a red flag, because that means the rest of Britain are fuming because it's raining.
Yeah, basically. That's why we piss wrapped, because we've just been walking in the rain.
Yeah. But basically, this is going to be a bit of a catch-up episode, and we've rejigged things around, unlike Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
Because this is actually going to come out in a few days' time on Monday to keep you all in the loop, and then we've pushed back the lifting the lid Q&A to the following Monday, because kind of that's standalone in time, isn't it? It doesn't really.
It's not quite as topical. Yeah.
It's not time pressure. That.
England play today, as we speak.
Yeah.
On Monday, when this goes out, we will have a result.
We will know that we're out, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
It will be confirmed.
It will be confirmed rather than us just speculating. What are your thoughts for later? What's your prediction? Because
Yeah, so
the Swiss are actually a good.
Yeah, so this was on the itinerary, so it's a
Okay.
kind of telepathy that
just
you've come to it. Yeah.
Just brought it forward.
Well, I mean, you can mindlessly speculate and you can kind of ruminate until the cows come home, can't you? But ultimately, we've had 4 performances and they've all stunk. So, by the law of averages, this is probably also going to stink.
And the Swiss have been pretty good.
And the Swiss are definitely the best team we've played at the tournament so far.
I think they're a big step as well. They're not just like decent.
Yeah. So it's not looking good, I'll be honest. It's kind of like pathetic fallacy, isn't it, this weather?
Yeah, true. It's a sign of things to come.
GCSE term throwback for you there. Not used that for a long time.
Yeah, it's not. Other than the thing is, he's made one change typically per game to game. Realistically, now he just needs to rip the fucking script up.
Dare we speculate the starting 11 again?
No, I don't think we should.
Were we right last time?
I don't know. What do we say?
So I think we put together like what we think Southgate will do and what
yeah.
he should do, and I think we were bang on with what we think he'll do.
Yeah, because he just changed Gallagher, didn't he? That
Yeah. Because we were like, God forbid he takes Trent out and puts
Gallagher
in, and he
did. And it was shit.
and it was shit. Yeah. So we've had 2 games since then.
Yeah, and since then, Kobe Mainoo's come in. He's quality.
Revolutionised the game, shock, because he can actually he can actually take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just run around like a fucking dog.
I think if I was Southgate now though, because I'd feel like I've got nothing to lose. It's like I'd try and rip the script up a little bit, play some like different team, and then because then if he loses, he's like, well, I tried it.
Well, let's be honest. If my £5 million a year wage was riding on this result, I'd throw the fucking kitchen sink at it.
Exactly. Well, what was mad is last game we were losing 1-0 for 95 minutes, and he made no changes basically. Made no changes the entire time.
Yeah,
who did he bring on?
He put me on the spot.
I think he brought Cole Palmer on.
Yes, he brought Cole Palmer on. That's it.
That was it. No, and then in the 90th minute he brought fucking
Tony on. Yeah.
Who, to be fair, looked very good.
And he got the assist for the second goal.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Jude's obviously going to play.
But let's do starting 11. So Pickford's obviously going to start. Right back, Kyle Walker.
Are we going same formation because we've not got a centre back?
I think we can assume that Gareth Southgate is a stickler for routine, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we'll go. Pickford's nailed on. Walker's pretty nailed on.
He was shit last game.
Yeah, he was shit, but he is nailed on. Stones, no Gahey because he's suspended, which is
probably
going to
have to be Conso, which
would be Conte, which is again a bit stinky, but it's either that or Lewis Dunk.
They're the only options.
Yeah,
really.
Dunk the clown.
Well, you need
not even the best birthday clown we know.
No, we do know a very good one. If anyone needs,
please get in touch.
Yeah,
he's good.
I can point you in the right direction.
Quite a good Instagram presence now as well.
Yeah, quite a strong Instagram.
He might up his rate soon.
But he has got multiple irons in the fire, so he might take his eye off clown jobs at some point. But yeah, so we've got
Pickford, Walker, Stones.
I think you should play Walker in centre back, to be honest. But
Conser, left back. Well, is Trippier fit? I don't know if he's fit because he hobbled off, didn't he, against Slovenia?
And he's been average, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, he's been average. I mean, if you're going to be bold, you'd play Saka at left, kind of wing back. so then you can guarantee that you've got some width on the left.
I know, but I actually watched Portugal yesterday, and they went out. Watching them having that gig, what's his name? Leo or something, Leo, on the left hand side, offering him width the entire game. Just play through for France.
It's not complicated, is it? Yeah.
Stretched them, played through them.
But
I can't believe Portugal didn't win.
No.
Crazy, mate.
Yeah, so France won on penalties in the end, didn't they? I checked on BBC Sport this morning.
Yeah, so
we were watching that game just to fill you in, and then kiboshed it at half time, effectively, because it was that bad.
Yeah, I got back and I had nothing to watch, so I stuck it on. But like the penalty shootout, so Portugal were dominant the entire time, just no one could score. And then
I wonder why that. We'll get onto that.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. And then penalties, Ronaldo won the toss and actually put them to go first. Statistically, the team that goes first wins. All the time.
Right,
so I don't know why he fucked it there, basically. Hasn't
Yeah, well, now that you've brought it up, we might as well address the Ronaldo issue.
he? Oh yeah,
Because this stinks, and it has been apparent for the entire tournament.
he's washed, mate. I'm the biggest Ronaldo fan.
Yeah,
he's
I'll
washed.
preface this. As someone who works in the fitness industry, I have the utmost respect for the nick that Ronaldo is still in at his age.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean he should still be starting up top,
I'm playing 120 minutes
playing 120 minutes for Portugal at a major international tournament.
when he's having zero impact on the game.
Yeah, when you've got like João Felix,
He came on, but
Diego
Last 10
Jota
minutes.
on the bench, that's criminal.
I know. Well, the only subs the Portugal manager from memory made was like 2 defensive subs. No, actually, a defender, a winger, and then João Felix came on with 10 minutes to go, but he left Ronaldo up.
So on paper, I think Portugal had, arguably one of the best teams at the tournament. But a combination of Roberto Martinez being an absolute fraud of a manager and the Ronaldo show taking place
Yeah, every game.
as that kind of lethal combination has massively hindered them.
Well, they were reading out stats throughout the game. Both France and Portugal have basically stunk the entire tournament. They haven't scored and they haven't let any goals in. So it's a bit like it's always going to be stalemate, that game, isn't it?
France versus Portugal was not a classic, was it? Put it that
No,
way.
no.
So France have now gone the longest time without scoring a goal at
It's
the
like
Euros of any team ever, I think.
545 minutes of football
And they've supposedly got the best player in the world on the left wing.
And they're in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So I thought Spain were nailed on to win the tournament prior to their game with Germany yesterday. But having watched that, they did display some vulnerabilities, I think.
Yeah, but I think that was just Germany being good.
Yeah, but then, true.
Because they were very good, They again, they deserve to win. Which I'm hoping, right? Because we had 2 games yesterday where the team that was supposed to win or should have won, played better football, didn't win and went out. So I'm hoping today that the Swiss outplay us on every bit, and then we go through.
And we shit out it through some sort of miracle, basically. That's what we need.
That's what happened yesterday twice. So
that's what we need.
Yeah.
So to conclude that, really, I think the Euro's still hanging in the balance, and there are positives for England. If you're an England player now, watching those 2 games yesterday, you're thinking, right, this is all up for grabs here. There's no foregone conclusions.
But you've got to be, and then the only thing is, I think if it was to go to penalties, I would not back us because Sommer's quality.
Yeah, he is good. And they've got a back 4. They've got a good... Well, actually, no, they play back 3, don't they? But they're 3 centre-backs.
Is that Akanji, one of them?
Yeah,
Is
Kanji,
he a defender?
Rodriguez.
He's been quality.
Yeah, he's probably been one of the players of the tournament. Yeah, so their keeper's good.
Which is good, because at the best of times, we can't create anything anyway.
Well, we were going through it yesterday, so we were talking like the goals that England have scored at this tournament. The 2 the 2 in the round of 16 came from just hoofing into the mixer. It's Allardyce ball.
Yeah, well, they're both from... Oh, no. Well,
one was from a long throw, and then was like
a
free kick that came
So that's not open play, is it, really?
No, because it's kind of still set... It's within the
set
realm
piece,
of set piece, yeah.
One got flicked on and then whatever.
The first goal we scored at the tournament, which was Bellingham's header, there was an element of fluke to that, because Saka's cross was deflected
Into his path. And then the second goal was Kane.
Was lucky as well, because that was a defending error.
Deflected off the defender and into Kane's path again.
So
in terms of like creating goals and shit, we haven't really done anything. Again, in about 500 minutes of football.
Which is criminal to say that your front 4 is Foden.
Probably the best player, pound for pound, like best fucking front four.
Pound for pound, the richest man alive.
Yeah.
Really, aren't they?
Well, they are quite that as well. They don't play for that team though. But we've been through this, but Foden's in the wrong position, and
There's a lot of discrepancies, really.
Saka's in the right position, but he's just not been.
Well, ironically, he could be in the wrong position today because he could be playing left back.
Yeah, but he's not been as good. Watching him play there and then watching Palmer play there is night and day.
Cole Palmer is so refreshing to watch in interviews, by the way, because he is borderline special educational needs.
Yeah.
In the best possible way.
Yeah.
Which I think
he's the kid in school who was like just didn't give a fuck. And just always in detention, always in isolation.
Just lives for football.
Yeah,
it's great. He's
That's
like
they've
just like picked him up straight off a playground. I mean, he's probably old enough to still be at school.
And he's still got the attitude of just I don't care. I'll play against anyone. I'll do whatever. And that's what we need in the England team at the moment because everyone's scared. Everyone's scared.
Yeah, I saw he was a press conference he was in at the tournament. I think it was like a while back now, but a journalist asked him a question, and he got him to repeat the question, not to kind of buy himself time, but because he genuinely didn't understand what he said.
That's quality. I do find it interesting on a cultural level how bought in we get. And it's not just me and you, but 50% of the population essentially get fully just kind of involved in this. It's just a sport. It's mad, isn't it? It's so weird.
The TV viewing figures are mental. So I was listening to The Rest Is Entertainment, which is a podcast that Richard Osman does.
Right.
You know, the guy from Pointless?
Yeah.
He's like a big kind of behind-the-scenes TV guy.
Well, he's a big kind of stats guy as well, isn't he?
Big stats guy, big in kind of like TV production, came up with kind of loads of formats like Big Brother and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, their podcast is all about kind of, the entertainment industry. And they periodically go through kind of like weekly viewing figures for TV just to see kind of where the nation's attention lies. And live England games always drum up the most, only really rivaled by kind of like royal weddings or funerals.
It's mad. And I know, obviously, it's our kind of main sport, isn't it? But it's the degree to which it trounces everyone else.
Yeah.
Like rugby, cricket, tennis. Wimbledon's on, I didn't even know. Like,
That's it. It came on, yes. I was like, fucking, is it Wimbledon this time of year?
It's crazy. Even the Olympics is on in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, England.
No one gives a fuck.
England played New Zealand, like the All Blacks this morning, I think, somewhere in the Southern Hemisphere. That's had no coverage whatsoever.
Crazy, isn't it? I can't really understand why. I mean, it's so emotive, I guess, the football. But only when you're that bought in. Like the game the other day against Slovakia, 95 minutes were just shit. And then you get that 1 minute before. You couldn't write it.
Yeah.
It's quality.
It's interesting, actually. They were also explaining how they go about divvying up the tournament, in terms of like who covers which game.
Right, okay.
And it literally is like a bidding war.
I imagine.
So they'll do like a flip of a coin and then someone gets first pick. So then you get first dib. So I think ITV picked the first group game. Right. So then it goes to the BBC's choice. So then they were like, well, we'll have England's second group game.
Ah, okay.
And then ITV
I was
were
wondering
like,
how they do that.
They literally go through every fixture of the tournament.
That's mad.
Game by game. So I was like, which game was last, do you reckon? Like, which was the least appealing game that they kind of had to like...
It's got to be one of the group games, hasn't it? Like
one of the stinky group games, like, I don't know.
But... Interestingly, those are normally probably the best games. Like, if you bill it as like fucking Georgia versus whoever.
Well, that's it. So it's a lottery, isn't it? So like a lot of... So obviously, I think the England games get
more views anyway.
Taken up first by kind of BBC and ITV. So you can assume that the first kind of like 6 or 7 picks are always going to be like the England group games, and then the potential path through for England. But then after that,
it's a bit of a
just
lottery.
A
Because
lottery.
again, like you play the big teams. Yesterday's 2 games were on paper the best games, and they were pretty shit.
Yeah, prior to the tournament, that would probably be like a high pick.
Yeah.
But then as the tournament's panned on, I reckon that the viewing figures for that
probably weren't.
Probably a bit naff because it's
especially France, Portugal.
It's a Friday as well, so kind of given the choice between going out and doing something or staying in to watch that stink fest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's, that is difficult because I was always wondering why all of the especially England games, aren't on BBC because you would just assume that. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. It's because they
They are better.
they literally like bid for them
I fucking love
basically.
it when
They
on
go back
BBC.
and forth.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so much better. Like, objectively, if it was kind of like, if it was seen as like a matter of kind of like civic duty or whatever,
Yeah.
all the England games would just be put on the BBC because there's no adverts.
So
And
good.
the
When you,
coverage is
half time interval when you've got adverts is shite because it's
Yeah.
about 9 minutes of adverts. But when you've got the BBC and Gary Lineker tuning your ear off, it's great.
Yeah, it is.
Are they playing the other quarter game this evening as well? Is that on?
Yeah, there's two games.
Okay.
There's one at 8,
That's
which is
Turkey, Netherlands.
Netherlands, Turkey. Yeah, so we'll know the result of that as well, and then we'll
Then
theoretically.
we'll know who the Swiss are playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then we'll know who the Swiss are playing in the next round.
Oh, it's so annoying though because I do it's the same every single time we play. I'm like, yeah, but we were shit last time, but tonight we'll be
It's
alright.
no different, lad.
It's every
That's
time.
it. Yeah, and there's no point speculating anymore because by the time people listen to this,
We'll know.
everything that we've said probably will have rang true, and they'll just be even more jarred out as they're on their way to work on a rainy Monday
Yeah,
morning.
just getting reminded that they're out of the tournament.
Yeah. Happy Monday.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, so back to what we've been doing, I guess.
Yeah,
You've been in
yeah.
London for a few days,
I
haven't you?
have, yes. So I went to something I've been, I booked ages ago, to be honest.
Well, to cut a long story short, you've been living your country fantasy, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. So ages ago, like February or something, I booked to see Morgan Wallen, but I just thought it was him. I just thought, because I saw this little advert, I thought, well, I wanted to go and see more gigs this year, so okay, got that. I actually bought it for my assistant coach as well, as a coaches do, sort of thing.
Which he made the most of.
Yeah, we can get into that. And so we did that, and obviously as it's come closer, things start to get announced about this thing. And it was what does it stand for? The BST thing?
British summertime.
Is it?
It's been going a while now because I went quite a few years ago, kind of like tail end of college.
Yeah, so it's almost like a festival, isn't it? I didn't realise that. It's like a day festival, effectively, where you have a couple of acts on throughout the day. It starts like midday, and then you just kind of in a field drinking.
Well, you're in
summer.
It's a day festival in Hyde Park. It's kind of like one big stage.
And it's always centred around a theme, isn't it?
Yeah, so they try and theme it to, because like if you're interested in the headliner, you're almost guaranteed to be interested in.
It's a good
kind of
idea,
like the
really.
support
'Cause,
acts.
I mean, it's better than having like Fred again on and then fucking
Yeah, exactly.
Morgan Wallen on later.
Exactly.
You've got a complete dichotomy of people. But they had like a couple of smaller country artists on throughout the day, and then obviously Morgan Wallen headlined at like 8:00. But it was really good because you sort of booze in from 12ish, right, and then you get kind of in a good spot by the time you get to the headline, and then you finish and it's like 10:00. And if you want to go home, you can. If you want to go out and extend it, you can as well. Shock, we tried to go out and extend it, didn't really work out, but I can get into that. But because of kind of how our night ended, we'd finished drinking by like 11:00, and then came back and sort of just got our heads down. But then you wake up in the morning, you're fucking sound. So you've had a fantastic day of boozing. You've got all the good stuff from boozing, and then you don't have any of the shit stuff the day after.
Well, it's a well-trodden path now that nothing good happens after about like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
But
like
if you can
and
push
you've-
that back
yeah,
a little
exactly,
bit.
and you've got a good few hours on that.
Yeah.
So you're in the plus.
I'm in profit.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you can start really early as well, you still get all of the hours you'd want drinking anyway.
Yeah.
And we were saying on the way here, like London in the summertime is fucking fantastic. And obviously we said about the weather today, but 2 days ago it was sick. It was like 20 degrees, sunny. So it's just like a summer festival vibe, isn't it? Which is really cool.
Yeah, like I do struggle to get on board with kind of like the cost of living for London now. Well, kind of at the best of times, but particularly in the past few years. But then when you do get kind of like those perfect sunny summer days,
it all seems worth it.
It does all seem worth it, but then you do have to remind yourself that they only get about like 40 of them a year.
Yeah,
and then the other 300 and odd days, you're paying through your arse for rent to live in a fucking rainy, overpriced city.
Correct. Well, speaking to people in the crowd, just obviously they all fucking live in London, talking about their rent and all this. I was like, fucking hell, it's so crazy. And these people are just rent a room, and it's like 1,500 quid.
Mental.
It's like, this is insane. So And like I say, on those odd days, it can seem worth it. But again, even so, basically Covent Garden and Hyde Park are decent, right? But the rest of it's a bit shit, right?
Yeah, well, there's loads of big parks in London. I guess all of those in the sun would be good.
Yeah,
And anywhere
yeah.
central, like if you're walking along kind of like South Bank or whatever,
True.
it's going to be nice, isn't it? But then equally, there are less
Palatable.
less palatable parts of
Yeah.
London that aren't central, basically.
Yeah, but it's a heavy couple of days,
Yeah,
both on the wallet and on the head.
But how much do you want to digress around the drinking aspect?
Well, again, like I say, heavy. So we went down on Wednesday night, got there at 10, which, most people would be like, okay, let's get our heads down, get ready for the next day. We were like, let's go for a few, quiet ones.
Never a few.
It's never a few quiet ones. So we'd had a few quiet ones by the time we got there. And then we went out, and when the first round ordered, right, is 3 double rum and cokes and 3 tequila shots. That sets a very clear tone for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it does. And I can't drink tequila.
It's horrible, mate.
At the best of times.
So nasty.
Let alone at the start of the evening.
So when my shot or my round came along, I was on fireball shots, which are a bit better.
Yeah.
A bit more palatable.
Slightly.
Slightly, yeah, very slightly. But so anyway, went out on the Wednesday night, got back, and that again, got back at 4:30 a.m. What is that about? I can't do that anymore, people. I'm too old. So back at 4:30 a.m. Lots of debauchery, lots of boozing. Blood ended up face down in the corridor.
Yeah, we need to unpack this.
He'll tell you that.
I don't want to throw him under the bus, but
No, he's
given the choice between, if we just unpack the thought architecture,
yeah.
Given the choice between sleeping in an actual bed that he's paid for, or a random floor somewhere in central London, he chose
the latter.
He chose the latter option.
Yeah,
which
and
is
he was already
interesting.
back at the place. He was already back at the apartment. Geographically, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, so you got an Uber back together.
Yeah, he was obviously, like I say, worse for wear. So was I, but I mean, he was a bit in a worse place. And then rather than come left into the apartment, he went right, just into some random area. And then I just, well, whatever. I'll see him in a minute. I didn't see him in a minute. I woke up in the morning, he still wasn't there. So we sort of rallied the troops. And then, yeah, he woke up having FaceTimed me from a random corridor where he'd slept naked.
It's an interesting psyche, that, and we know a few people like this. I reach a certain point in a night out where I become kind of like rational again, so to speak.
Same, yeah.
Where
Saturation point.
Saturation point, and then I start to basically plan for the hangover in the morning. So I'm like, so at this point, like I need food, I need water, and I need sleep. Some people kind of
double down,
chase the night and refuse to accept defeat, don't they? And I think that's where these kind of decisions stem from.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's such a benefit having our relationship with a night out, because it's damage limitation after a certain point.
Well, yeah, it's a built-in safety feature, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
having it's the difference between having an airbag and not having an airbag.
Yeah,
Really, isn't
you've
it?
gone into the crash still,
Yeah.
but you might survive.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like, if you accept that the crash is going to happen, you may as well have your airbag on.
Exactly, yeah. You may as well take your paracetamol and get some electrolytes down you. I'm all on board with that, and I think that does massively help our wallet, first of all, because it means after a certain point you're just not interested in boozing anymore. Whereas some people get to like 2 o'clock and then they continue to do rounds and rounds and rounds, and that's where you actually spend the money, because you're already pissed at that point. So it goes down quicker, and you have no real like limit to kind of what you're going to spend. So that's one thing that goes out the window.
I have another good example of people chasing the night, and it was our last night out in London.
Yeah.
You know, we went down for that charity quiz.
Yeah.
So an individual that we're friends with, who you were actually with the other day, not
There's a
Blood.
running theme.
There is a running theme here. So we went out to the, what was it labelled as? Because that was criminal, false advertising, wasn't it? Wasn't it the Infernos of Bermondsey or something?
Battersea.
Battersea.
Where in
Yeah,
Battersea?
so I don't know, somewhere in London that it fundamentally wasn't Inferno.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That we were led to believe was Inferno.
Inferno's, by the way, is a quite decent club in Clapham, just if you don't know.
It's very cheesy. It's like your local sticky dance floor
Yeah.
late night club
But it's in London.
from your hometown, but it's in Clapham. So like naturally, I flocked towards that.
Naturally, it's cool.
Anyway, we were told that this place that we were going to in another area of London was
the equivalent.
the local equivalent of that, and it wasn't. And we persisted with it because all of our friends were there. But it came to about 2 a.m.
Saturation point.
and our saturation point naturally kicked in. So we just kicked it in the head, didn't we? And we went to McDonald's.
Yeah, we just called it, went to Mackey's and went out, and that's fantastic for me.
Yeah, that
At
was
a certain
great.
point as well, that's all I want to do.
That's all I want to do, yeah.
McDonald's tastes so fantastic.
Because at that point, I have gone about 5 hours without eating food or drinking any water.
Yeah,
like,
so I need it.
Yeah, so I need it. But again, this said individual refused to accept defeat.
Yeah.
And, you know, to cut a long story short, he ended up at the end of the tube line at about 7 a.m. being shaken awake by a cleaner.
That was all, yeah. This service ends here.
Yeah, yeah. I think he'd got on the tube with the intention of going to like a casino or something. Obviously fallen asleep on the tube.
Because it was about 5 a.m.
Ended up in High Barnet. Stayed there, obviously, because the tube had terminated. And then got shaken awake by a cleaner.
He actually spun that bit, and he said that he had no battery on his phone, right? So he had to go into a Premier Inn, charge his phone, sit there, like really,
Mate, it's always the fucking in the clothes that you wore on the night out. It's so stinking that.
Sit there just fuming, like half asleep while his phone charged. And then he had to get Uber, which cost him 80 quid.
Well, yeah,
get across London.
because at that point you're basically not in London anymore. You're like the other side of the M25.
Yeah, so you got that, and that again, like hangovers are bad enough. You don't need it compounded with an extra financial expense and just being completely out of sorts and not sleeping properly, all that sort of shit. So I think our natural safety mechanism actually pays dividends in that sort of respect.
And the thing is, the older you get now and the more kind of financial freedom you have, the more dangerous the other thought process can be.
Yeah, because you've got more damage you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you've got a much deeper wallet, but
Yeah,
your
yeah.
thought process is still the same as it was.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
like, if you do end up in kind of like the casino or something, instead of putting 10 quid in the roulette,
It's
you
now like 10x, isn't it?
yeah, you put 100 quid on red.
Yeah. Well, literally.
It's
Hypothetically.
hypothetically, someone might have done that.
Yeah.
And then immediately lost.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the first night. So we still had the actual main event to kind of navigate.
And obviously, the other obvious factor here is that as a standalone night out, I think our approach is best anyway. It's even kind of more relevant if you know kind of like the main act, so to speak, is to come the following day because you want to be fresh
100%.
for it. Like that's the whole reason you're in London, right? So
Yeah,
you want
exactly.
to
If
enjoy
you'd have ruined that, and again, it like I say, starts like midday. So you haven't got much wiggle room here between 4 a.m. and midday. So if you start in like a big deficit, it's really quite difficult to get yourself up to baseline for 2 o'clock, so you can actually enjoy the day rather than still chasing your level of coherence by 2 o'clock when it all comes around, which was which was the case for some people.
So, for example, let's say if you'd, I don't know, slept naked in a corridor that night and then woken up, refused to go out for any food, slept for a bit, didn't charge your phone, got dragged to the day festival, fell asleep for the majority of the afternoon, and then had to go and charge your phone at a Vodafone stand.
Yeah,
that's probably not the best way to approach the situation, is it?
Probably not. I mean, again, because of our built-in safety mechanism, I was sound, so I was completely coherent. I was kind of a little bit hungover, whatever, but I was like, it's fine. I could operate still. So we'd been for breakfast, and again, I was talking to you about this. When me and you were out and drinking, and then like the morning is very much, let's get some like movement in, let's get some fresh air. Let's try and like right ourselves as quick as possible. So food, coffee, whatever. Other people just have not that's nowhere near their priority list.
Again, it's the same mindset though, but instead of it being on a night out, it's a hangover, isn't it? So it's like refusing to accept defeat on the night out, so you stay out.
It's all about reaching acceptance,
and then it's refusing to accept defeat with kind of coming to grips with a hangover. It's like,
and then try and square it away. Because the thing is, objectively, a hangover is pretty easy to sort out. Really, all you got to do, a little like the front loaded discomfort.
That's it, though, isn't it?
Of just getting out of bed, getting outside. Go and find a newsagent, get some paracetamol, and get some.
That sounded like a product. That sounded like an advert then.
And then go and get some electrolytes down, and pretty much you're about 80% of the way there then.
Yeah, go and find your Manscaped.
Yeah.
Have a shave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Use
not.
Cobra and your brother's 50.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. But again, it's that front-loaded pain for
Yeah.
kind of like long-term gain, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like people don't want to get up,
face the day.
go for a walk, get some electrolytes, get some caffeine in them, get some food in them, because they can just rot in bed,
Yeah.
not realising it's going to prolong the pain. But in the immediate kind of short term,
It's quite comfortable.
that's the easiest option.
Yeah, I mean, it did help, to be fair, by the fact that it was a stunning day in London, so it was quite easy to get out and have a little walk around. And also, I was saying this to Sam, you're never more than like spitting distance away from a Gales in London.
Which is sensational. I mean,
Fantastic.
we've
I googled it, it's like 0.2 miles.
We've
Sick.
sang the praise of Gales on the
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
before, haven't we?
It's so good, mate. They actually do. I didn't realise they do cook stuff as well. Did you realise that?
What, like
They do
paninis
like
and shit?
No, like a eggs and bacon thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
can only be in certain Gales, though. 'Cause
Maybe.
I'm swear the one that we went to didn't
It was
have
just a
kind of like-
bakery kind of equivalent. Yeah.
That's sensational, though.
So good, mate. And yeah, so we sort out at Gales, and then kind of got our bearings again, and then went to this festival, and the festival was very good, to be honest. I mean,
It's the kind of being in that festival must have been like in your mind
constantly.
constantly. Yeah, there's just
'Cause
kind of
lots of cowgirls and cowboys everywhere.
lots of flannel.
Yeah.
Couldn't like just kind of
Ambient country music.
ambient country music, and then as you said, kind of just cowgirls in cowboy boots.
It was sensational. Yeah, so fantastic. It was a great little day, and then like I say,
And then you didn't. Oh yeah, you went out for a few after.
yeah. So I should probably deconstruct that a little bit. So we we separated, split call sign at this point, and then
Oh yeah, because our mate. We need to address this as well.
he always yeah. So we reach saturation point and become logical. He reaches saturation point,
yeah.
and just he loses his head.
It's head loss again, isn't it? See again. We need to deconstruct the thought architecture.
This is a more difficult one.
So
though.
to cut a long story short, when the headline act comes on, Morgan Wallen, he's reached said saturation point,
Yeah.
and instead of thinking, I've come down to London to watch this individual, I should probably stay in the festival and watch him. He's thought, I want to leave now, and proceeded to leave the festival.
Yeah,
And then immediately come to his senses when he now realises that he's just in central London on his own.
and he can't get back into the festival.
Can't get back in because he's left. And now he thinks that's your problem.
But no, he walked back. He walked back to the apartment was about 15 minutes away. Walks back, gets there, realises I've got the key in my pocket. 15 minutes the other way.
And Andy's still in the festival that he's supposed to be at.
Yeah. And so he just ringing me and fucking texting me and all this. Obviously, I can't hear him. I'm in the middle of this fucking concert.
Yeah.
So I'm there shouting down the phone, like, send me a location. 'Cause I thought he was just, like, out of the actual immediate crowd.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't realise he'd just completely fucked up.
Gone for a piss or something and got lost.
Yes, anyway, the Morgan Wallen finishes. Obviously, then there's a mass exodus, so we have to kind of deal with the crowds and stuff. And then we meet him at this bar. We both kind of knew where it was. Anyway, he was still incoherent and just tired by that point again, because we had the night before of no sleep, and then obviously the day of drinking, all this sort of stuff, and sun probably makes you tired. So I had the bright idea. Let's try and go to Inferno's.
I forgot
the
about
aforementioned
I forgot
Inferno's. And the entire time I was convinced it was a Saturday. Because of the day we had.
This is going to prove to be a crucial bit of information.
Yeah, it is. And so, because of the day we've had, like, it's been all day, it's been, like, sunny, it's been great vibes, it's been super busy. I was like, it's got to be a weekend. So my initial sort of, assumption is that it's just a Saturday, it should be fine to go out. So anyway, we try and get an Uber, this should probably be covered as well. So our mate tries to get an Uber, the one who's incoherent, and books 2 Ubers. They arrive on the app. And then he's like, well, I can't see him. So rings him, mate, where the fuck are you? Stood in the road here, can't fucking see you. And then the Uber driver's like, well, mate, you know why you can't see us? Because you booked the Uber the wrong way around. So this Uber driver was in Clapham, and we were the other end of the journey.
The Uber driver's in Clapham outside Inferno.
Yeah,
And he stood in the road somewhere near Hyde Park,
Yeah.
wondering where his Uber is.
And he's done that twice. So that's happened to 2 Uber drivers. So then by that point, I abandoned the idea of an Uber, and we got the London Underground to Clapham, which took fucking forever.
So that's a far like
It's quite a far journey.
The bad
yeah.
thing about Inferno's really is that it's not central.
It's quite out of the way.
So unless you are kind of in that area of London, you know, to then go to Inferno's,
which is probably what happened the last time we were in London.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a
it would have
fake
been
Inferno.
a fucking pain in the arse, really.
Yeah, and so we were sat on the train. I was there. Googled Infernos when we got to Clapham Junction,
Yeah, it's good that.
and you know the red closed little thing you get on Google Maps. Gary Neville there, and then we also realised it was a 30-minute walk from where we were, which is also a bit shit. And so we had to then.
You're in Clapham and it's still
I know,
half an hour
I know,
away.
fucking bollocks. And then we had to accept defeat then. So we just ordered a massive Mackey's and went back. But that didn't really warrant the 40 minutes of travel that it took to get to Clapham, you know. So
It's not good that,
a
really.
great day really just finished in defeat.
Yeah.
We should have just gone out next to, like, in fucking where, Soho or something.
This is the problem, and again, we've spoken about this on the podcast before. Look, I don't want to sound like a boomer. London is too big.
It's hard to get round.
It's hard to, and the same with Berlin. We had the same issue with Berlin.
did, yeah.
I want like a little party district in every city
That
where
everyone agrees upon.
even when I'm kind of incoherently drunk, I can kind of register that area on a map and just kind of head towards it blindly.
Yeah.
I don't want
There needs to be one.
I don't want to have to make complex decisions about kind of like where different bars are away
No.
to my location and kind of like the
I haven't got the brain capacity for
yeah,
that.
I don't want the risk reward. I don't want to have to do a risk reward mentally in my brain
No.
when summing up where to go. I just want to blindly like, what's that place in Hamburg?
The Reaper Barn.
I just want a Reaper barn
Everywhere.
that I can. Yeah, I wanna, this is if I ran for MP or
This would be my
PM,
number one
This would be my
manifesto.
number one policy in my manifesto. Every city legally has to have a Reaper barn for the safety of incoherent drunks.
Of 18 to 30-year-olds.
Because then, if you're on a night out and you've got kind of certain individuals in your group who we've just kind of described who don't accept defeat,
Yeah.
you know at least they're kind of contained somewhere within
Yeah.
the Reaper. But it's like
At least they're in like a 400-metre radius.
it's all right because the Reaper barn's got him now.
They've got him.
You know,
yeah.
it's got like its own safety net,
Yeah.
like padded curbs
Padded
and stuff.
walls and shit, yeah. That's a great idea. So, I mean, yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's too much, it's like Netflix, we turn it on, too much choice in London.
It's the paradox
You can
of
go out
choice,
in
isn't it?
fucking Box Park, you can do whatever, there's just so many places. But
But unfortunately, because there isn't like a centralised place, you don't really get that kind of the buzz. You know, like, in the same
No.
way you get a buzz on like a strip when you go abroad, because there's
only one place to go.
there's one place to go and everything's geared towards kind of like having a good time. So it's like there's just an energy there, you
Yeah.
know, because there's so many people all with the same kind of intention.
Well, exactly. Like, we went out on the first night in Soho, and it's just, like you say, convoluted. There's loads of places. It's like loads of like different streets you can look and go down, which I guess makes London what it is. But it's very difficult if you're not from there and don't really know it really well to have a good time,
Yeah, I
because
don't like that. And it's
you're
like
gonna find you're gonna probably end up somewhere that's late, so that probably has everyone come. But initially, like 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, that weird time of night,
Yeah.
where everywhere's not really that busy. It's hard to find somewhere that's decent because, there's not been a bar that's just captured everyone.
Yeah, well,
which is what you
you ended up in the same place that we ended up at after the marathon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which again, you know, from memory, limited memory, isn't great.
It wasn't
It's
great.
it's
no.
an underground all bar one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just kind of like stinky dungeon vibes, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and again for London, which you'd expect to have Gucci stuff in, because everyone's
Yeah.
piss can. We need to cover that as well. London's a fucking city full of pissheads, mate. It's crazy.
Well, it's this kind of like cities are designed for mindless kind of consumption, aren't they? And
Yeah.
I think boozing comes into
Yeah,
that because definitely because it's mindless.
Yeah, and I guess London as well, because it's just it's like stressful there. It's and so I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, people are just trying to escape the
Saturday. It is, isn't it? It's like it used to be like Thursday, and then you'd go out Friday, Saturday. But now I think because times are so bleak, it's kind of like it's edging towards Wednesday
Yeah,
as well.
Monday next year.
We just everyday boozing. It's the work hard, play hard, like City mindset, though, isn't it? It's like boom bust cycles, as Simon Jeffrey would say.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is the city of boom bust.
Which
But,
it isn't sustainable, is it really?
No, that's why people do it, like live there for a couple of years and then fuck it off, don't they? Well, first because they can't afford the rent. But no, it was good. It was good. It's just like I say, I couldn't spend prolonged periods of time in London because it would ruin me.
No, I like the relationship that we have with London, whereby like we'll go down a few times a year for whatever reason. So you go down for your gig, and then like last time we went for that charity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then like we'll probably go down later in the year for something else.
Something
else that comes up. I like that because you dip in and out. You get a flavour for it. Touch base with the stuff you actually like in London. So you can go get a Gales.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
to like Wit Fitness or whatever.
Yeah.
Find somewhere with like a Gucci ice bath. Go to a nice park. And then after 2 days of that, you fucking you worn out by the kind of relentless nature of a capital city.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you can just evac.
Yeah, exactly, and come back to
Like the
sunny Cayford.
the last chopper at Saigon. Whereas everyone else is stuck there, like the local Vietnamese population, who kind of then had to face the repercussions of
Of extortionate rent.
the Vietnamese Communist Party. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, good couple of days, but again, I'm glad now that it's back to reality, back to normality.
Back up north for you.
Yeah,
You've gone from kind of like that little distorted little London bubble back to kind of quintessential British living because you're going to go to Oldham, which is very British,
yeah,
to watch England get knocked out by Switzerland in a major competition.
yeah. In a northern pub.
In a northern pub in the rain.
That is
Can't really get
British,
can't get much more British than that.
British summer. That is like,
No.
That's yeah.
I know, to add to the irony, I bought an ice bath with a chiller during kind of like the mini 30-degree heat wave we had over a course of 3 days, and now it's eventually arrived. It's raining and it's about 14 degrees.
Yeah. I also ordered a mattress up north, which I'm going to cover. I ordered a mattress, which I think I talked about it last time, but I ordered the good one that was like, I'm really excited about it. It said 2 to 5 days delivery time. 10 days later, it's starting to come. So I fucking DM'd them on Instagram. And they got back to me straight away. And then shock, the next day it was dispatched, right? So that's obviously an error on their end. And then they dispatched it the day before I went to fucking London. So now it's just sat probably outside the gaff in the rain. Brilliant.
Yeah, we need to cover this actually, because I don't think I've not actually heard anyone else say this on the internet, and the internet's full of people saying stuff. I think the best investment you can actually make for your health and fitness isn't a new Gymshark top or a gym membership. I think it's a mattress.
Probably.
Because if we assume that a mattress is for sleeping, and that sleep is the single best
bedrock.
thing. Yeah, sleep is kind of like the cornerstone of your health and well-being. And you spend kind of like a third of your life on a mattress.
100%, yeah. Well, I would extend that to your wider sleep setup.
Yeah.
So not just the mattress, the pillows, or everything that goes with it, the eye mask for you, whatever, makes a massive difference. Because we all slept in shit hotel beds. Like, they make a huge,
Yeah. Like we've all slept naked on a corridor floor.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not
you
sustainable.
don't get into your REM sleep in that environment.
Naked.
No.
In a random corridor.
But you're absolutely right, because you should spend, a 30 life asleep. And so make that as productive as humanly possible.
And adding to that, I'd never get the kind of the penny pinching attitude around your sleep architecture.
What around health and fitness?
But yeah, okay, so it's
We can extend that.
We can extend it to health and fitness, but especially sleep. Because if you assume that, like, say the difference between an average mattress and a good mattress is about 200 or 300 quid.
Yeah.
But you're actually going to spend kind of like a third of your time on this particular object.
Well, if you do the maths between how many nights you can spend in it.
Yeah.
Like, if you pay per night.
And the lifespan of a mattress is years. Like, you're talking not even pennies every night, less than that.
Exactly.
It's
so
an
if you could actually Klarna it and pay like 3p.
Klarna's his mattress.
3p each night for like 20 years. You do it.
It's just a no-brainer, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because, again, if we assume that the difference between a shit mattress and a good mattress is, quality sleep,
Yeah.
you can't really put a price on that, can you? Because,
No.
as you said, we've all been in shit Airbnbs and hotels where
Exactly.
you've barely got a wink because it feels like someone's punching you in the back all night.
Yeah, and so I mean the wider setup would again like extend to like blinds and all like everything that could go with it.
Yeah,
I think-
let's run through it.
Yeah. Okay.
Mattress.
Yeah. So a bomber's mattress. I've got the same one you've got. I think.
Yeah, so with the Emma Sleep mattress.
Yeah.
No
affiliation, unfortunately.
No affiliation, unfortunately. If you do want to get involved, though,
Yeah.
please actually send us your product. Go on.
Yeah.
So good mattress. Blackout blinds would probably go next.
Yes. Yeah.
Because obviously light is something that people don't actually take into consideration, I think, with sleep.
Well,
they don't really...
light and heat, and those mattresses are cooling apparently. So
Yeah.
if you get one of them, then that's heat done.
Windows that open, although we assume you
Most
already
people should have them, unless you're in
prison.
Yeah.
In which case, you're probably bagging off prison officers.
Yeah.
Probably need to address that as well.
Yeah,
We'll come on to that.
Lot to do. And then you want probably good pillows, but good pillows are sort of subjective. aren't
That's
they?
more a grey area, isn't it? Because some people like them stiff, some people like them soft.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah, if you prefer them soft, I'm probably your man.
Yeah. And so you've got kind of again whatever pillows you would deem as good, hard or soft.
And then after that, it's kind of like minor ancillary issues, isn't it? Like, do you want a sleep mask?
Weighted fucking blankets
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff you can delve into.
You've got loads of shit now. You've got kind of like air filtration systems that go through the mattress and that'll give you a fucking rim job while you sleep.
Yeah, that's
Happy ending
that's
when
the
you
goal.
wake up.
The goal is an 8 sleep mattress where you can heat and cool one side of the bed and it's like fucking mental.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah, rib for your pleasure. Yeah. That one that Chris Williamson pushes apparently, right? If it detects you snoring,
Yeah.
it'll elevate your head.
Right, that's weird.
That's mental to stop you fucking snoring. Sam could have done with that the other day. Fucking loud bastard. Anyway,
That's a bit like technology creep, that.
yeah.
I'd feel a bit uncomfortable if
Yeah,
mattress is kind of like making decisions around my sleep for me.
yeah,
You wake up one morning and your arsehole's really sore.
yeah, mad that.
That's just like, it's a bit like AI,
Yeah.
kind of Blade Runner, that, isn't it?
Yeah, you wake up all sticky one night.
Yeah. Your mattress has got to develop emotions and he's talking to you.
Yeah, he's spooning you. Yeah. So there's endless stuff you can do now around your sleep, but I think the core foundations you should I think invest in if you can. And again, the same with like we talk about always, like health and fitness. People will have such a distorted view of actually what they should spend their money on. Health and fitness just often doesn't come into it.
No.
But again, if you look at it as the foundation or the tectonic plate that everyone else rests on, makes sense to.
It's a no-brainer as well. And especially like such low-hanging fruit like a mattress or like a £20 a month gym membership. Like it's just...
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Like most people today will put £20 worth of bets on England to get knocked out against Switzerland, and none of them are going to come in. You know, as appealing as 2-1 Jude Bellingham one shot on target is, it's not going to come in.
No,
because he's going to stink the gaff out.
It's not really going to get you anywhere.
No,
you might get another 10 quid out of it, but is the what if you buy a good mattress, you're definitely going to get good sleep.
Mate, we need a fucking Emma affiliation after this.
Yeah, I know.
We've just sold them so many mattresses. They'll come in on Monday to the office and they'll just see a massive spike in sales.
Oh,
and then they'll be like, what's going on there? And they'll notice that it was exactly when our podcast went out. So I can only assume they're subscribed.
Well, I'll message you, mate, because I've got one DMs now.
Yeah. Well, actually, while we're on the subject of sleep, we need to cover sleep on air travel as well. Because there's this new trend where people are raw dogging flights, which is mental, for the sake of a few likes on TikTok.
Yeah.
What you should actually do is buy like a £5 travel pillow on Amazon prior to your flight. Get some earplugs and an eye mask, and then that's basically like however many hours of just sleep.
And if you can get some melatonin, you're sorted.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I don't actually think there's anything better to do really on a flight unless you have a pressing piece of work that needs to be done by the time you land.
Yeah, and that's always stinking as well. If you work on a plane, it fries me. I don't know what.
Yeah,
it is,
it's just because like everything else you can do on a plane is kind of suboptimal. So you can do work, but like you said, doesn't really hit the spot because it's claustrophobic. You can't really concentrate. You can't really listen or watch anything because it's so loud. Like it's all, again, you your ears are kind of constantly trying to filter out.
You
what
need
you
noise
want.
cancelling headphones.
You need noise cancelling headphones. You can't really have a conversation, if you actually are willing to pay extra to sit next to the person you want to sit next to. Can't speak to them anyway, and they might have thrown up on themselves. In my case, anyway. In which case, it's going to make pretty unpleasant flight. Do you may as well sleep? Literally, buy the accessories you need to block out the world and just sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can arrive in your destination hopefully a little bit better, a little bit more well rested.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it does depend kind of the length and the duration of the flight as well. Because it's like an 8-hour flight. You're lucky if you're sleeping all of that.
Yeah.
But if you do, it's fantastic. We flew back from Austin. We all slept like 8 of the 10 hours.
100%.
So good.
And my back was fucked, and I still managed to sleep the whole flight.
That was the melatonin. Though I had about 5 milligrams of it.
Yeah.
And just fucking.
That was probably like the worst condition I've been in getting onto a flight, but actually the best
flight experience
because I fell asleep in Austin, Texas, and then woke up
flying over London or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We literally woke up with about like half an hour left of the journey. I looked out the window and it's like that kind of like that scenescape of like central London as you fly into Heathrow.
It was mad. That was a really good flight, but again, it all comes back to sleep as much as you can. Don't try and fight it.
No.
Or raw dog it, which is weird.
That's a shit trend. We need to put that in the bin.
Yeah. Anyway, what's next on the agenda?
Right, well, I can double check, but I was going to move on to our friend who's going to make an appearance as a pet peeve. I couldn't decide whether to... yeah, this is it. So I couldn't decide whether to put him as a helmet of the week or a pet peeve, but I think pet peeve is a bit better, although he is also a helmet. And this, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know about this. This is the individual who I saw wearing a balaclava in the gym.
I think we've got to go helmet because he doesn't... Well, luckily, doesn't plague our viewing enough to be a pet peeve.
I'll put both segments back to back now.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Helmet of the week.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
It's a podcast first, that.
He's
been 2 simultaneous segments at once.
Yeah,
takes
some doing.
And it's warranted. Right, so just a quick explainer, right? I was in the gym yesterday doing my conditioning workout. I looked up from the rower, and I shit you not, there's a guy doing bicep curls in the mirror, wearing regular gym gear and a balaclava in a public gym.
Yeah. I mean, we tried to speak about this yesterday. I still can't really get my head around it.
Where do you stand on that?
Well, it should be banned.
Where do you even begin with that? Let's unpack.
Who's let him leave the house like that?
Firstly, who's raised him? Secondly, let's unpack the thought architecture behind that decision.
Yeah, well, there isn't one, really, is there? I mean, if you want your identity to be concealed, don't go and train in a public gym with thousands of members.
And I feel bad that we're kind of, potentially exposing this individual's identity, but...
Because he's probably Special Forces.
So
he's actually Andy McNabb.
Let's think about it. There's only 2 reasons why you'd wear a balaclava, right? The first reason is you're a criminal. The second reason is you're UK Special Forces.
Yeah.
And I'm not a betting man, but I don't think he's SBS.
By the looks of him, probably not.
Yeah, given that he didn't look in the best nick and he's training at 2:30 in the afternoon on a Friday in JD Gym Briley Hill.
Yeah. I think we can be pretty certain that he's not SF. But I would imagine the third maybe drop down of that is he's a terrorist.
I mean, you can keep going.
Maybe he's just getting himself fighting fit for ISIS.
Yeah, I mean...
He's on a training programme.
I looked up from that and I just thought, this isn't a training environment that's conducive to kind of athletes, is it really?
Yeah, it doesn't make you want to like push. You don't see that in Ivory Performance Centre Bolton, do you?
No.
I mean, it's fucking wild, that, to be honest. I think I couldn't really... I've seen some shit in that gym as well. I've seen some crazy sort of scenes in that JD gym, which again, when you're training, just fred you out, really. They just like annoy you, don't they? Like you see someone, I don't know, doing some crazy form or just working out at 0 intensity. It just jars you out. But that's like cream of the crop, that.
Yeah. I mean, I can forgive like poor form and half repping, because that just comes down to kind of
Bit of ignorance, like.
bit of ignorance, lack of understanding, knowledge. You can teach that. You know, I can forgive, you know, fashion faux pas to a certain extent. Like, I don't agree with people like tradies coming in their high vis after work.
No.
Because I think that a lot of them don't actually require high vis for their job, but put it on for the gym. Because that's a bit of a weird trend as well now, isn't it?
Yeah, or there's no reason for it. Just pack some fucking gym kit.
But unfortunately, I have now found my tipping point, and that is wearing a balaclava at the gym.
I don't think this is even like relatable. Hopefully, because hopefully there's no one that actually experienced the same thing. Was anyone else giving like a double take?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
so that individual annoyed me, kind of at the surface level. But then actually, as I unpacked it further, you know, as I'm going through my HIIT workout, this is all I'm thinking about. By the way, this is good. You know, when I should be concentrating, is my anger then turns to the PTs and the gym staff.
But then haven't
Because
picked,
I'm like,
picked it up.
yeah, there's a very strict dress code at JD, whereby like you can't take your top off, which is stupid because you're in a gym,
Yeah, that is.
and they refuse to turn the aircon on.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, actually that is hindering performance then. You know, because if you're doing like a speed interval session or something, but it's like 20 degrees inside the gym and there's no aircon, you should be able
to take your You should be able to ventilation.
Well, yeah, exactly, because otherwise you're not actually able to perform at your level.
No.
Because like your zone 2 pace is now like your zone 4 pace.
He's not able to perform at his level because he's got your balaclava. You can't see.
But like not even because it's from kind of like, you know, it's threatening. Like, you know, 20 years ago, like a balaclava literally meant you were either special forces or you were about to rob a post office.
Yeah. Or your IRA.
Yeah, but your IRA again, not a good look.
Yeah.
But now it's got to the point where it's so normalised you can walk into a public gym, wear a balaclava, and not even get approached by
I don't understand.
not even
how
get
he's-
approached by the PTs or the gym staff asking you to remove it.
Yeah, I mean that's the irony of this situation is if you don't want to be noticed in a gym, you know, the number one thing you don't do is wear something that makes you immediately noticeable in the gym.
We said this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like, I get it if he wants to keep his identity concealed, but the fundamental flaw that he's ran into there is he's gone to a public place and worn something that's immediately going to make him stand out.
He's done a great job of covering his face, but you know, it's not an invisibility cloak, is it?
No.
So if there's a A to H thing that you use in the military to kind of describe someone.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like the facial features is only like a couple of points of that. You've got like identifying marks where if he has any tattoos, whatever, you can probably ID the bloke or put the bloke or you know put him into a bit of a category where you could ID him in a different area just by what he's wearing, you know, his sort of height and whatever. You could do a load of stuff, but trying to conceal your identity in the gym makes zero sense from whatever way you look at it. But yeah, I mean that just I saw that on your story. I was like, that's fucking wild.
It's mental, and I still really struggle to articulate how I feel about it because it's just the last thing I'd expect to see in a gym. Like, it's just mental. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get it from any angle that I try and approach it.
There's no rationale.
I just don't get. I don't get why he thought it was a good idea. I don't get why someone didn't ask him to take it off. Like,
So ridiculous. Just doing a normal workout as well. It's like it wasn't even a thing.
it's absolutely wild. But I'm convinced that gym is just full of NPCs.
It's just
And
a
that,
simulation.
and
isn't
like
it?
there's some overlord like kind of creating all of these fake characters just to fucking annoy me.
just a
I'm
like a
just
like a Sims game.
yeah, it's like the Truman Show,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
just trying to fuck with me now because like it's the game's coming to its end, and they're just trying to
Yeah.
fry my head,
Yeah, it's working.
and it is work because I am losing my head.
Yeah, he's congratulating because he's got both segments.
That bloke is absolutely rent free, and I do kind of want to meet him just to ask him why he's done it.
Well, you won't be able to because he's quite good at concealing his identity.
On a side note, and in any other day, this would have been enough to pique my attention. Aside from the fact he's wearing a balaclava, he finished his workout with bicep curls right in front of the mirror, facing the other way.
What do you mean facing the mirror or facing away from the mirror?
No, facing away from the mirror.
What?
So he's gone over to the mirror, to curl,
Yeah, this bloke's.
and just not look.
He's just there to jar you.
And it's not even. Yeah, exactly.
He's just on purpose. Probably one of our mates.
Yeah, he's actually like on, like, I don't know, Ant and Dec's like Saturday Night Takeaway.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're in his ear going, now do curls, mate. Yeah,
He'll be on
face,
tonight, yeah.
face the other way. Yeah, that's funny. It's actually Ant. Just didn't
Probably-
recognise him. 'Cause he was in a
is.
balaclava.
Probably is. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. But I think again he's got both segments now, so well done to him.
Who's the real winner? If he wants clout, then he's got our attention. So
He has,
you know,
but no one knows who he is.
we've fallen for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking mental. I mean, again, can't really get my head around that. And I wonder if he goes into the changing rooms, changed everything else, but his balaclava stays on.
Yeah, one of them, like even like in bed, in the shower,
Yeah.
like and he can't even pass that off as religious reasons.
Maybe he's just rats.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just ugly, and self-conscious.
can only hope.
Never know. Because that's the third one we didn't actually
That's
cover.
all four. I forgot I'm losing track now because
we've got special forces,
SF,
terrorist, criminal, rats.
criminal rats.
Could be all three.
Obscure religion.
Yeah.
I identify as a criminal.
His own made up religion.
Unfortunately, I think what's happened is he's seen too many TikToks of people who think they're gangsters. He's decided to follow suit, forgetting that he's actually a normal lad from Brierley Hill, and he now thinks that it's a bit of a flex to train in a balaclava in a public gym.
Yeah, I mean, again, if that's any sign of the youth today, then that's.
There's
worrying.
no hope. It's increasingly becoming a bit of a boomer podcast, this, but it caught me out of touch. But these things, objectively, are bad.
I mean, I'm hoping that's just an anomaly, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it is.
If I see him again, I am actually going to have to ask him, just out of curiosity. Like nothing, not in a confrontational way, but like
You don't want to confront him because he's SF.
because he'll disappear.
He'll
What I'll do is I'll ask him a question. He'll disappear in a cloud of smoke,
Yeah.
reappear having abseiled down from the ceiling,
Yeah.
and take me out from behind.
Yeah, so you don't want to engage him.
No, because he's an operator fundamentally.
Fundamentally, he must be to wear that.
Yeah, he's probably he probably moonlights as a birthday clown as well.
And
There's commonality there because they obscure their identity for the sake
Yeah.
of children's entertainment.
bit weird. when
He
you unpack it
obscures
like
his
that.
identity for unknown reasons.
Yeah. Maybe it's the same reason.
Yeah.
Children's entertainment. Eddie's entertainment.
Could be someone that we know. Never know. Prominent individual.
Prominent.
Or may not be a clown.
Yeah, I mean, prominent's a stretch.
He likes to think so. Yeah, but anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Really, we were very meandering that, but I think you're up to date now.
Yeah, and hopefully the Euros chat, he's actually falling on pleasant ears because we've won.
Yeah, hopefully you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday, having watched England pull out a generational performance at a major competition.
Yeah, listening to World in Motion.
And we played so well that they actually scrapped the rest of the tournament and just proceeded to award us the trophy at the end of the 90 minutes.
I can see that happening.
But if not, and we've done a Southgate stinker, as I like to call them, and we're now out and you're depressed because it's raining in July, then I can only apologise for the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
For compounding that
Yeah.
sadness. But anyway, yeah, I think that's comprehensively covered both the Euros that's probably going to end for us tonight, and my sort of week in London, living out my country fantasy.
Yes, and then as I said, because we've rejigged things around, next week you'll have the Lifting the Lid Q&A, which is a good episode, and you may have already seen clips from that on socials if I've managed to find enough free time to do that.
Yeah.
No promises there. But yeah, so that's your immediate podcast future sorted.
Exactly.
And beyond that, again, because we're a professional outfit, I haven't got a clue.
Who knows?
So stay tuned.
See, I mean, you don't know whether we're just like putting up a front that we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's so. You see, this podcast operates on so many levels. We're so postmodern. You don't know whether this is all smoke and mirrors or we are actually clueless.
Yeah.
And I'll leave that down to your interpretation.
We've got Keir Starmer coming on next week.
Yeah. We do need a guest, actually. We should cover this very quickly. We do need to get some guests on.
Yeah, we do.
But we still haven't squared the setup again.
Yeah, no, we
'cause
spoke
you-
about this about a month ago.
Because you don't know whether this setup is deliberately amateur, because we're kind of like taking a postmodern perspective on podcasting,
Yeah,
or we are actually clueless.
and we'll leave you
And we'll leave you, and on
to
that,
decide on
and
that.
on that bombshell, we will leave you to decide that for yourself.
Yeah, but make sure you subscribe because this is a professional outfit.
See you next week.
So.
Right.